Hello, beautifuls. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am showering you with massive heart hugs and lots of love in this moment. Today, I wanted to come on and just share with you a really important divine reminder for all of us during this time, and any time that you're watching it really is really the importance of remembering that as human beings living as natural beings of nature, we have this massive full spectrum of light, of expression, of emotions that we can experience. And if we go out into nature, we look outside, we have all these different types of weather. It can be really stormy and rainy and windy one day, or it could be really, really sunny or cloudy. There's just so much shifting and changing within nature. And if you think about it, there really is no bad weather in nature. Mother Earth doesn't see it as bad weather. So when we're having a bad day or a down day, right? When we're feeling low, when we're feeling a lot of sadness or anger or frustration or boredom or dissatisfaction arise, this is an invitation for us to return home to ourselves. It can mean so many different things. It could mean misalignment. It could mean that there's something that you have not seen, or you're finally in a space where you can process it, or where the body feels safe enough to actually experience and express these emotions. There's just an array of reasons as to why we could be feeling low, or be having a bad day, or just feeling sad in general. There's so many. And instead of going back in our mind and trying to figure it out on a logical level, why don't we allow ourselves to just sit and be with it? Why don't we tune in and really ask the body, ask ourselves what is really going on? And after we've done this, if you're in this video and you're like, I've done that, I've done this, I've sat with myself, I've been with myself, then what are you not being honest about? What are you not seeing? How can you take more responsibility of yourself and who you are? Maybe this is an invitation, not necessarily to go and explore the sadness and the bad days and the down moments, but actually to pick yourself up. Maybe it's an opportunity for you to, start looking at this from another perspective. Start seeing how you can nourish yourself and provide yourself with some love and comfort and holding. Maybe it's not seeing it as, this thing that is just shadowing over us. It's not something we can get rid of. We've lived with it for all our lives and all of these things, because I just had this experience where I was going around and I was saying no, I felt this sadness, I felt this dissatisfaction in my life for all these days and all these years, and it's as long as I can remember, this is it, right? But at the end of the day, what really happened for me was that I got to sit down and look at where I was being inconsistent with myself, where I wasn't actually pouring into myself, where I was creating stories to attach to these emotions, which were perpetuating those stories and keeping me in this place of, attaching to different things within this vibration and this frequency that was in, about being a victim of how I was feeling and not knowing exactly what the next steps were for me to get out of it. I was so focused on getting out of it, right? And it's so easy for us to focus on trying to get out of it, but being with it, actually being with it, moving it through, not seeing it as you, because you are not your emotions. It's something you're experiencing. It's something you're feeling, right? You are not your body. No, your body is having sensations. Your body's here literally wanting you to survive as a soul here. So take care of it. How can you nourish it? What is really going on? And no, you are not your thoughts either. You are not all of these stories and beliefs that are running in circles within you. So how in those moments are we able to detach and realize that it's okay to experience this full spectrum of emotions, that we're not only supposed to feel one way, and if we're not feeling that way, then there's something wrong, or that we have to be in this space of doing shadow work and all of these things. Sometimes things just need to come up to create space for what we want. But we need to know what we want, right? We need to know what we want. We want to know what we desire and what we're calling in. And a lot of the time, it takes just a moment of gratitude. It's really this brutal honesty that we need to have with ourselves. The just minute to sit down and let all of it go and stop the ego from trying to create all of these stories as to why you could be this way. And sure, there's a lot of reasons we have to be sad. You know, it's totally okay. It's totally okay to feel down and to worry and to, you know, really have fear around things. That's obviously going to be something that comes up as we are experiencing life. But remembering that this is a full spectrum that we're experiencing, and it's not bad to feel it. We give ourselves permission to see it from a different light. And really, instead of just exploring it, if you've been there, you've been with yourself, you've sat with it, you've been with it, it's coming up and coming up. Sometimes emotions need a lot more time to really run through and be released through your system. But that doesn't mean that, oh man, I've been feeling the sadness for so long. When is it gonna stop? When is it gonna stop? And the truth is that this is the spectrum of life. So the best thing that we can do for ourselves is shift our perspective of these emotions and not try to control them or to control our experience in any way. But rather than control, can we choose? Can we take our power back in the most beautiful, sovereign, co-creator, divine way and choose what it is and how it is that we are going to perceive this experience? Can we take ourselves out of it for a second and realize that, oh yes, my human is experiencing sadness right now. My human is really upset and angry right now. What do they need? What do they need? Do I need to move my body? Do I need to just be with it? Do I need to lay down and take a rest day? Do I need to get up and go talk to a friend? Do I need to go out on a walk on my own? What is it? Do I need to formulate a plan of how I'm going to get back on track? What led me to this? What brought me here? How can I accept that I can hold myself within the spaces of feeling down, alone, angry, frustrated, sad? Because these are only scary emotions because of what we associate with them. These are scary because we associate loss, we associate betrayal, we associate lack of safety, we associate not belonging and not having. Right? It's scarcity. We associate so much with sadness and with anger that we push them away without even realizing it. Like subconsciously, we literally push things away. And instead of pushing it away, which is that separation, that very thing that we are working on not doing, right? Perpetuating this separation. Instead, can we allow ourselves to come into union with what is real and true? And when I say real and true, because I say this a lot, I realize this is just the truth of your soul, the truth of who you are, the truth in the moment, right? All truths are true. If someone believes one thing, that's their belief, and that's what they believe is true. So what is really true to your natural being? Do you believe that love is powerful? Do you believe that your compassion for yourself can heal? What do you truly believe? What is your truth in that moment? If your truth in that moment is that I feel really shitty right now and I just want to lay down, okay, that's your truth. And then going and asking yourself, what is one thing I can do to nourish myself? And maybe that's just to ask someone to get you some water. Maybe that's to order some food. Get some food in your system that feels good and nourishing, something that's going to enliven and bring up your energy. Maybe it's doing a puzzle. Maybe it's coloring. Maybe it's going outside and just being with the earth. Maybe it's just, having something beautiful near you to remind you that this is temporary. We look at the earth and all of nature. We look at ourselves, human beings, all our relations. We all die, right? We all die. We all come to an end in this physical form. So if we remember that thoughts and emotions are energy just as everything else is here, it can, yes, be transmuted, right? You can transmute it by moving, doing something, meditating. There's so many different ways we can transmute these energies. But oftentimes that's not always the healthiest way to go about it. Sometimes the transmuting may be the just being with it. And another thing that we can remember is that these don't last. Your sadness does not last. If you continue to entertain all of the past, whatever it is that you're holding on from the past, all of the beliefs and the stories that continue to try and run through, then sure, it's going to feel like this sadness and this anger and this frustration lasts forever. But it doesn't. It doesn't. It's temporary. When we get through into those little dips in our lives, it's temporary. And it calls us to really begin seeing how we can further nourish and hold, to see our actual devotion for ourselves. These are almost like the most important times for us to really devote to ourselves and to see how we can fully show up for ourselves. Fully show up. So if you are feeling in any certain way on this spectrum of emotions, how can you show up more for yourself? How can you show up more as your divine self, for the divinity within you? How can you lift the veil a little bit to see things from a different perspective, a higher perspective? There's so many different ways we can do this. And this is just a reminder that it does pass. It does pass. You are meant to experience all of it. You don't always have to dive into the deep end, you know? You don't always have to do that. Sometimes you can shift yourself into positivity. Sometimes you can shift yourself into more play and joy. And if that's not something that feels accessible, how can you be more honest with yourself? Where are you at? What are you attaching to? What are you attaching to? What are the attachments happening here? And in any of these processes, remembering that it always comes back to compassion. It always comes back to realizing that not all of this is yours. Not all of this is yours. This is a part of your journey. This is a part of just living here on earth, right? We all experience it. You literally are not alone. No matter how like spiritually advanced or whatever, ascended, who cares, right? That you are as a human being still living in this realm, in this plane of existence. We're going to feel that full spectrum. And the next time that the more that we begin to feel these emotions, and the more that we are met with them, right? And the more that we continue to show up for our divinity, for our truth, for the love that's inside of us, right? We actually really enliven and strengthen ourselves to be able to get through and transmute these energies so much faster. It becomes so much clearer because we've created a space for clarity to actually come through. So get super honest with yourself. Remember that this is an opportunity for us to come home. Everything, I feel like, is an opportunity for us to come home. And I just want you to reflect on one thing for me before we go. What is one thing that you want to call in this moment? Is it a specific feeling or experience? Is it an emotion? Maybe joy, maybe peace. Maybe it's just peace. Is it something more specific? Maybe you really want a really nourishing meal, a nice healthy meal for your body. What is it? And as soon as you find that one thing, I want you to claim it out loud. Say that I want to attract, I intend to have, however you want to say it, whatever feels really empowering to you, or I choose to experience is also another one. And then breathe it in and out and just repeat, yes, thank you, yes, thank you, yes, thank you, yes, and thank you. This has been so helpful for me. And a lot of the time when we're going through specific emotions and experiences, we amplify it with our action, with our doingness, and with our embodiment, what we're actually being. So if we're out there saying that we want things and being, feeling unsatisfied and being in a place of just, nothingness, right? It just feels like nothing's moving. I'm not getting anywhere. A lot of the times it's because we are not actually being honest with ourselves and taking the little steps that we need to get to where we want to go. We may have done it, inconsistently, or we may have not fully committed ourselves. We haven't shown ourselves, our bodies, that this is what we believe, that this is what's true. And remembering that it does take a little bit of time for energetics to really come into embodiment. But just saying the words yes and thank you, we open ourselves up to receive something new. We open ourselves up to a much grander, more abundant, expansive point of view. It's one of the most important things, and it feels so simple when you get to that point of realizing that we have relationships, we have stories and beliefs that are attached and try and tied to the emotions that we have. We have relationships with different emotions, right? And you can tie it all the way back to your childhood. You can tie it all the way back to your body and your ancestors. There's so many places that it could go. But you know what? You being an embodiment of who, your truth, your divinity, and what you believe is the most, empowering way that you can experience something for you in your life, it's going to automatically begin healing your past and healing your lineage and your ancestors in such powerful ways. So don't overthink it. Do your best to remember that thinking gets us nowhere. It really gets us nowhere. What can you get up and do for yourself in those times of feeling down and sad? How can you shift? How can you look inward? How can you remember that this isn't you? This isn't forever. That this does pass. This is something that's moving through. You're finally in a place where you feel safe enough to experience and let this emotion arise. So how do you want to express it? How do you want to create a sacred space and let it go and fully just be in it without having an expectation or an end goal? And that's huge. Now that I'm saying it, not having an expectation or end goal is huge, because once we create that expectation, we create resistance to all the different possibilities of getting there. So, and that takes, that's the letting go of control and the choosing that you are going to be so present that there are no expectations, there are no end goals here. There's a divine knowing that this does pass and that something beautiful is on the other end of it. And even just the journey of allowing the movement of this energy is beautiful. And it's a part of life. We see it every day with nature. You're a part of that. It's you. Thank you so much for taking a moment with me. I am just sending you so much love and so many hugs. Honestly, give yourself a massive hug right now. I hope you have a little bit of a better grasp and took something away from this that may help you with whatever it is that you're going through. And even in the future, can you really set up a little bit of foundation for you to assist you in maybe the times that, we probably will go through more sadness and more downtimes. So we might as well just be prepared. We'd be prepared from an open point of view and a higher perspective, and just remember that everything's like an opportunity for us to come home, to hold ourselves, to offer ourselves love. And the more that we do that for ourselves, the easier it is for us to do that for others. And it gives us just a wider perspective and just pours into all the little holes within us, really, that say that we're not worthy of having that level of compassion and love, and that it's okay to exist feeling sad. It's okay to exist on the spectrum. Totally. Okay? I'm sending you all lots of love once again. I keep saying that and I'm not letting you go, and I'm gonna let you go now. So make sure you subscribe and comment what resonated with you, what came up during this down below. I would love to have a conversation with you guys and just send you a lot of encouragement back. And yeah, I will see you guys in another video. Make sure to check out everything in the description box below. I do a lot of things, and I would love to get to know you even deeper and to have you a part of the community. Like, thank you guys for being here. Honestly, it's such an honor to be able to share videos like this and connect with everyone all over the world. I love you all so much. So incredible. All right, goodbye loves. I'll see you in another video.